Welcome back. We'll now be joining Paula Akeburi for the news rounds.
Thank you, Vivian, and good evening to you, our viewers out there. I hope you're enjoying the program. Welcome to another edition of the news making the rounds in the Niger Delta. I am Paula Akeburi in Bayelsa State. The Ebola Fever Scare is having a negative impact on bushmeat hunters and sellers in the state. This is as a result of the lack of patronage, as the virus is linked to wild animals. Bushmeat vendors on the ever-busy Isaac Boro Expressway in Jinogwa complain of hard times as it's no longer business as usual. The place has become a shadow of itself. Although the State Commissioner for Health, Dr. Owe, had last week assured that the government has taken proactive steps to prevent the spread of the virus in the state, he nonetheless urged residents to improve on their personal hygiene. Also on Ebola, the Akwa Ibom state government is determined to check the spread of the disease, as the University of Uyo Teaching Hospital, UUTH, has created isolated wards to handle suspected cases. The Chief Medical Director, MD of UUTH, Professor Etete Peters, has meanwhile called for urgent awareness campaign in all the local government areas of the state. In Imo State, daredevil cultists has sacked the sleepy rural community of Obiakpu Egbema in Ohaji Egbema local government area of Imo State. The clash of the rival court groups has led to the death of 21 persons and the destruction of properties worth millions of naira. Fleeing indigents of the town says the court groups, who were dressed in army uniforms, were sponsored by some prominent personalities in the community who engaged in the power game. In a swift reaction, Governor Roches Okorocha have deployed 18 men of the Imo security network to the community to stem the activities of cultists. And in Cross River States, the Governor Liyel Imoke has raised alarm over the increasing rate of moral decadence in the Niger Delta region, stating that this has become unprecedented. The governor spoke in Calabar, the state capital, in a dedication service of the cathedral for the charismatic renewal movement. The governor, who was represented by his special advisor on religious affairs, Pastor Okpo Ene, said that the only way the high moral decadence in the country can be addressed is for churches and religious organizations to live an exemplary life. In Akwa Ibom State, a high court in Uyo has granted bail to a journalist, Mr. Thomas, publisher of the Uyo-based local tabloid, Global Concord. Mr. Thomas, who has been in detention at the Department of State Security for 38 days, was arrested on the 1st of July. He was accused of using his medium to commit acts that contravene the internal security and enforcement of law of the Akwa Ibom people in the 2009 Constitution. In River State, 5 innocent persons were killed in a popular bar in Port-Harcourt, the state capital, by gunmen out of frustration when they could no longer find their target. Sources said it was a court-related incident, adding that the gunmen who stormed the joint at about 9:30 p.m. in search of their targets barely missed him and shot these victims. The State Commissioner of Police, Mr. Tunde Ogunshakin, who confirmed the incident, said only 2 persons were confirmed dead and promised to bring their killers to book. That would be all for this week's edition of the news making the rounds. Until I see you next week, I'll leave you with Vivian. Good night.